Hey, welcome into the Spalding Brothers show. I'm your host, Wyatt Spalding, with my co-host, Weston Spalding, and we are the Spalding Brothers. Wes, how's it going?
Doing good, man. 4th of July or 4th of July weekend just
Yeah,
happened.
but it's
So,
about the end of the weekend. It's like very early on a Sunday morning for the both of us, but it's the only time we can do it. And we haven't done an episode in a while, so now we're back. So we are going back into our series of basketball, basketball life lessons, and I'm holding a poster, kind of. And the third one we are on is Wes. Say it.
never give up on the play.
All right. So, in basketball, let's say there's a loose ball and you try to bend over and pick it up, and then someone else comes out of nowhere and dives on the floor and gets it. And that person wins most of the time because they gave more effort and didn't give up on play, even though they knew it was going to hurt. Or like the play that I like that doesn't happen a lot because people are afraid to get run over is a charge. They never gave up on the play because they were willing to take the hits and suffer the pain that it took to make the stop on defense. So
Yeah, or the best is when it's like a scramble for the ball. And everybody's like on the floor, diving for it. It goes like change of possession. Like this one team has it, the other team has it, the other team has it. And then somehow your team gets in, they flip it out to like the last person that's not in the scuffle and they hit a three or something.
yeah, just
And
the
you're
guy
like, dang,
standing there
yeah,
like, all right, I'm ready.
yeah. The guy doing like none of the work, just ready for somebody to pass the ball.
Yeah, so kind of how this relates to our lives, and hopefully maybe we can it relates to your life as well. Is like think about like say you have a goal. So I all my goals, most of them it seems like, I think it's gonna happen like 6 months, maybe a year. But let's say 2 to 6 months. Really it happens like years and years later. When I made the USA Games for Special Olympics, it took me 8 years to reach it for tennis and 12 years for basketball, which was the cool thing about basketball was I had this dream. I like made the dream when I was 12 and then it took 12 years. So kind of cool. But anyway, so let's say it takes like forever to reach your dreams because it's a dream, it's a big goal, and you always just have like life that gets in the way and adversity. With me, I hope no one had my adversity, but I had back surgery that was super serious. Um, got sick several times when I was trying to go for like moving out. Remember, like I was gonna move in with you, was it your senior year of college? And I was
Oh,
gonna
dude,
live in,
yeah, it was like after college.
yeah, it was like you in grad school or something. And then I had that esophagus problem when
Dude,
it
it was the
was,
day before you're gonna move out too.
no, it wasn't. It was like a couple months. Because well, I didn't pack
Oh, okay.
anything yet. Yeah, I hadn't packed anything.
Maybe
So
that was when you're about to move out and then
yeah,
COVID
that's the
hit.
third time. So
Yeah.
so the first time I had the esophagus problems, which mom and dad didn't want me to move to your place anyway. And the second time was like they found a place for me with some other people that had disabilities, but we're gonna live in like a just a regular house. But I didn't qualify as disabled enough, which made no sense at all.
Hmm.
And so I was like, okay, whatever. Mom was actually more disappointed on than than me on that one. I was just like, I'm not surprised. The whole thing seemed kind of sketch.
Hmm.
And then the third one, found a place, found a roommate, looked at it, looked at the papers, or was gonna sign the papers like 2 days in 2 days. Pandemic hits, there goes the place. So that was very disappointing. Um, I now have found a place with a friend, but I haven't like signed anything or like, it's like we verbally it's official. I don't move into like the fall. So I'm not really gonna get my hopes up. Not because I'm not excited, just because like you never know. You never know. Especially if you haven't like signed anything. So I mean I'm planning on moving out. So pretty positive about that. and this is like the best kind of deal I've gotten, like better than the other three. So I trust the people. I've met these people through a friend of mine who I played tennis with, and so very loyal people. But it's just you never know. Medical condition come up, something with the house. But I just like I know like 95% of it. I think it's like gonna work out. I'm gonna move out. But with my life, what I've learned is like when you think you're about to get there and it's to the finish line and you're about to meet your goal, bam, something happens. And then it's like, all right, well, it can be sad for a little bit, make a time limit for how to be down, because I think everyone deserves to be mad or upset if something doesn't work out right away, and then get over it. And then you just got to keep going, I guess.
Yeah, and it's just kind of like when it gets the hardest and when you want to quit, it means you're probably the closest.
Yeah, exactly. That's why it's so disappointing.
Mhm. You're like, I feel like I'm so close, but yet I just want to like quit and like give up. But then that's usually when something like really good happens. Like when you have those days where like you want to quit, like um, you know, even had a recent day where I was like, oh my gosh, like this just feels hard. Wish I didn't have to like do all the things I do today. It's like, well, this is probably gonna be a good day then because I feel like quitting. And then some good things happen. Got some good like connections for some new clients and things like that. And I was like, dang, I kind of like fit that quote a couple days ago, or probably like 4 or 5 days ago. And yeah, just kind of, I feel like sports helps you realize that, like, oh man, when things are like really tough and you're like, wow, this sucks because you're like just getting your like ass kicked probably. Sometimes that's when like the comeback starts and you start like rolling, start gaining momentum. Uh, and I was reading that book on flow a lot, and it talked about how to get before you get into flow, you have to go through like frustration. So you can't get into a flow in a sport or work or whatever unless you go through like 10 to 20 minutes at least of like this period of feeling frustrated. But sometimes, like you in your situation, you said why you feel frustrated for like a long period of time. You're like, oh my gosh, like you get momentum, then it stops. You get momentum, then it stops. Or everything seems like it's taking you backwards. Um, like the only way I can relate to you like missing on those places are I've had a couple times like where I was supposed to work at these really cool facilities and then it just like got the deal got um thing like it just didn't work out at the end or like the first one was COVID. Like I'm supposed to have this job during COVID. Uh, and I was gonna train like these club teams, and I'm like, just like the guy, my boss never like called me, and then I call him like 2 days before I'm supposed to be there, and like, hey man, when do you want me there on Sunday to help move the equipment? He's like, oh yeah, sorry, I'm not gonna be able to like give you this job because of the COVID and stuff. So I asked for all my old jobs back, and then a lot of times in fitness where you can just be like, man, like this is like too much. Like I'm just done with it. And I think it's better sometimes to even like take a step back. Like you said, sometimes you want to feel mad or frustrated, but it can be better just to like take a step back, take a little breather, kind of look at your situation, and then figure out a different way to maybe go at it. Or sometimes like, hey, you just gotta keep doing the same thing. Just take some time to have that build up, have like that investment of like what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, because your situation was crazy. So you lost that job. Then you like move back home for like you're like, I'm gonna be here for 2 months. Because I couldn't go anywhere. I was like at high risk for COVID. And so you're like, I'll be here for 2 months. You're here for like 2 weeks. You moved to Colorado, and then you're living in an apartment, right? With like your buddy.
Yeah, I was living with like Travis Agaga. We
Yeah.
went to um school together, and then his girlfriend Kat, which was awesome. They let me live with them, and I just lived on this like futon chair. It was a pretty big futon chair, like it was wide enough and long enough for me. But just like it was like chair that was like in their living room, and they had a very small apartment, so I was very like blessed that they were able to like put up with me for I think it was about about a month or a month and a half. And yeah, I was sorry. I was working crazy hours, like all day. I was just like trying because I was supposed to like work. I was supposed to run this CrossFit gym at this one gym there. So they brought me out there, but the guy that was supposed to leave was still there running the CrossFit gym. So it was like awkward. And it was a gym that was not just CrossFit, it was like a bunch of other stuff too. It was like personal training, sports performance, yoga, cycling, stuff like that. And so like I was trying to kind of like be a personal trainer and I was like what was I doing? Oh yeah, I was cleaning the gym. So I was cleaning the gym at night for like a couple hours. And then I was like looking for other places and I found MBS CrossFit. And so when I started working at MBS CrossFit, I was like in a trial period. So I wasn't like full time or not full time, wasn't even like part time yet. I was just, they were just seeing if I was a good fit.
Mm.
So I'd like coach the 5 and 6 a.m. class at one of their locations. And so I'd clean the gym from like 9 to 11 and then go home and like sleep. But when I'd go home, me and Trav, he would also be getting back from something because he like coached the soccer team. Like late at night, their practices, we'd stay up for like another hour just like talking about something like random. So then I get like 4 hours sleep and go coach these couple CrossFit classes, and then I go back home and sleep some more, and then go back to like the gym to coach or I was trying to do some online stuff too, and just literally trying to make it. And yeah, thought I had an apartment or I thought I had like a room there and got like just like lied to and yeah, a little bit like scammed, I guess. And then moved in with AT, which was awesome. So it kind of like worked out. Like not getting that first place in Colorado was cool because then I got to move in with AT, who was like one of my uh guys at my wedding. So like that was cool, like live together with them and think about like the job that I didn't get in Lincoln during COVID. Like I never would have came out to Colorado if I would have got that job. So it's like
Mhm.
sometimes when you like try to go after something, it just doesn't work out. Like it actually leads to something even better. Like you just can't like see it yet. You can't see like God's plan. It's like really frustrating when you're in God's plan because like, why are you putting me through this? Like you probably can relate to that a lot too. Why like this is a bunch of BS. This is crap. And
Yeah.
then you're like, oh wait, it kind of makes sense now. Like you kind of see it line up. And yeah, one thing I think I'm trying to be better at too is like when you feel that, like don't like, just get mad at like God or yourself or situation. It's like, well, if it's all gonna work out, like it's all gonna play out. Like, if you don't give up on the play, like, the play will play out. And sometimes it means something's gotta end, and sometimes it means like, hey, like you finally reached your goal because you didn't like give up on it. You didn't just hit a brick wall and decide not to find a way to go around it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, well, like when I would like get upset about something won't work out, I like eventually would like just, suck it up and deal with it. I'd still be pretty mad. Like the moving out thing, I was pretty mad for like 2 weeks. But
Mm,
like I just like tried to not like think about it. And like I would just like do the whole fake it till you make it thing or whatever. I would like even when we were kids, like if I was just in a bad attitude or something bothering me, I just would try to act like I was in a good attitude until I actually was. But like deep
mm,
down at the time, I was pretty mad. And I would say definitely had the more of a temper than you do. So I think too, like just having a disability is just frustrating, especially like you have a medical diagnosis come up. Like I never thought I'd have like swallowing issues at like in our 20s.
mm,
So like I had all that, and so that was pretty frustrating. And like the whole thing with just like COVID affects everybody. So then I'm also dealing with the swallowing issues along with what everybody else is dealing with COVID. And so yeah, it's very stressful. But yeah, I was just like, well, it's not nothing really lasts forever. Like the whole bad times and what is it like? Bad times don't last forever, but strong people do. If you really think about it. And so I think too, like going through like the whole esophagus thing from well, I still have it, but the really bad time was like 2018 through 2020. And I was just like, it kind of helped me realize, and I knew it before, but just more of a wake up call. It's like, I'm just always gonna have to deal with like medical conditions and stuff. Because if I wake up, what up? So anyway, so when you like just go through like hard times, I was just kind of like, I'm always gonna deal with medical conditions. Cause if I wanted to move out, mom and dad would always be like, well, you can do this and that. And like, yeah, like, how am I gonna do certain things? I have a disability, can't drive, have this medical stuff, and yeah, it's always just gonna be hard, but it doesn't mean I can't like just stop from doing stuff. So like at 25, I just kind of made a decision like, look, I'm just gonna do what I want to do. Like with my life, it's probably gonna take way longer than the average 20. I was 25 at the time, so 25-year-old. So now I'm 29, about to move out, hopefully. So far, so good. And yeah, I mean I should have moved out 10 years ago, really. But I'm always like a decade behind, which is fine. As long as I can accomplish my goal and dream, it's fine with me. Doesn't matter what age you are. So,
Yeah.
because I don't know. I think I could relate more to someone that's moved out and in college than like a 29-year-old because I haven't experienced with everything a 29-year-old would experience. And I'm single, I live with my parents, and I've never like had to pay all the bills of renting a place. So, yeah.
Yeah, but like you said, like doesn't matter what age you are. It's not like you weren't trying for the goal either, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Like sometimes I would just kind of forget it. Not like totally forget it, but like just put it on the back burner. Like, I'm not gonna really try to pursue this. It wasn't just moving out either. It was like USA games for basketball. I never really knew if I would make it for that because I was like better at tennis. So I would just put it on the back burner and if it happened, it happened. If it didn't, it didn't. But it happened. And now this moving out thing happened. And I guess too, like when I would say I like, I'm just gonna quit on this, I never really would because it'd still be in the back of my mind. If you really quit on something, you just forget about it and it's out of your mind. But I would like always think about it. And with the moving thing, I was like, if it happens, it happens. And, whatever. I'm not going to try to force it, especially after the third time it didn't happen. So, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
sometimes you gotta let it like organically happen.
yeah, like you can't just wish it if it happened and it happens the next day. You got to work at it or just kind of like talk about it. Like that's what I did. I was like, yeah, I want to move out and stuff. And I found a friend that was wanting to move out too. And so it just kind of worked out, kind of like your situation. You found your friend that was also living at home and you just found a place together. And that's how it
Yeah.
worked. So, but yeah, then like
Yeah, and
other,
like
okay.
after you move out, you'll see like, oh man, this was the better situation to happen, you know? Like
Yeah,
right now it's like, well, hopefully it happens still. Like hope like who knows? Like who knows what could happen, but sounds like it's a for
pretty
sure
good.
thing this time.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And it's like, it probably will, but like I said, you just never know. And it's probably better to move out now anyway. And we're almost 30. So your mindset changes from like 24, 25 to, 29, 30 years old. And I think it will be better that I moved out at this age. Still be pretty hard. I think it'll be stressful, but I didn't give up when I, reached my basketball and tennis goals and I've learned like a lot through tennis that even if you lose like a couple games in tennis or the first set, the match is never really over. So I won most of my matches in my tennis league that I play in where I'm the only one with a disability. I lost like I was playing the other day and I was down like 1-4 in the second set
Yeah.
and I had won the first set 6-0. But I just
Damn.
like believed in my like uh consistency and like the practice I put in. I was like, I wasn't even worried like down 1-4. I was like, I'm gonna beat this guy. I just gotta like start like stop making dumb errors. And then I won
Yeah.
6-4.
No way.
So, but yeah, and then like there was one match I lost 1-6. I was trying to figure the guy out. Then I did, and I won 6-2, 6-3. So
We always joke around. I was like, obviously nobody knows, but I'll call you like, yeah, I lost the first set, and then I took him into like like a tiebreaker, which is like you play the third set, and then you just play to like 10 points, right?
yeah, you can decide. You can either play the 10-point tiebreaker, or you can play a whole set. And uh yeah.
For those of you that don't know Wyatt is like he's like be like a cat, and your opponent is like a mouse, and you're gonna like let the mouse think he's about to get away, and then you're gonna stop the mouse and then pull it back as far as possible. You're just gonna keep this mouse running. He literally will keep his opponents on the court, just in the heat, just playing until their soul like crushes because they realize they don't love tennis as much as Wyatt, I feel like.
They don't
Or
love
like
the
they don't love
heat
the
as much
heat.
as I
They
do.
hate, yeah, they don't love the
Yes.
heat as much. So why like will physically try to exhaust them on the court so that way he can win in the end. Or yeah, it's always
Yeah.
funny. Because there was
Basically.
last summer you like always came back.
Yeah. So
Like every match you lost the first set and then you'd win the tiebreaker.
yeah, there was like maybe 2 or 3 matches I lost in a tiebreaker. But then the rest of them I won. I won like 4 matches last summer in
Hmm.
this league. And I went like, yeah, 4-6. And all 4 of my wins were tiebreakers. And like one
Yeah.
match was like 2.5 hours. And the first set like went to a tiebreaker, I think.
Oh
And
dang.
yeah, and so it was very long. And it was just the never give up on the play kind of mentality. Like this guy is good. Like we were pretty even. But I was like, looking at his age, like he's like a lot older than I am. Like, there's no way he wants to be out here. And it was like one of like the heat warning days. But we played at night. And I was just like, I'll be out here all day. I don't care. And so I was like, won the third set tiebreaker. Like I had won the second set, or I think I lost the tiebreaker, won the second set. And so like we hadn't even played the tiebreaker yet. And I was just like, it's over. I got it. Because I just knew these this guy would like flame out. Like the longer we played, the more tired you'd get and
Mhm.
the stronger I'd get. And so even like I've lost matches like that where man, if I would have won the first set, I would have won. But it's just like, well, I fought him to the very end. Like my very first match of this season, I didn't care if I won. I was still coming off a staph infection, a strep throat infection at the same time, all this medical stuff. I'd been like kind of dealing with medical stuff for like 3 months up until this point. And so I like didn't have the energy I had, but I was like, I just want to get the first match out of the way. And I lost in a tiebreaker. Like I was just
Dude, you
like,
always take tiebreakers. Like even when you were in Virginia, that tennis tournament for Special Olympics, or just like people
yeah,
with disabilities. It's like I feel like you're always in tiebreakers there.
yeah, like I probably played like 50% or more of my matches in tiebreakers. And my
Mhm.
record there is like that's another good example, like, never giving up on the play is I have a losing record at this tournament. I'm like 14-20. Because this last year we played 4 matches instead of 5. And so uh going to that tournament really teaches you that if you want to be good, if you want to keep coming back, you got to get better and better, but it's still going to be hard. And there was a bunch of matches I lost in the tiebreaker. I won several in the tiebreaker. My last match, I won in the finals in a tiebreaker. So that tournament just really teaches you like how to like dig deep and fight through the all the adversity that tennis has. The only adversity you're not facing is you're playing outdoors because you're playing indoors. But it's
Mhm.
hard, and you just see a bunch of athletes like they'll be down. I saw one match where an athlete was down like 5-0 and then came back and won 7-5.
That's insane.
Yeah, it was like I can't remember.
That is crazy. Who
Yeah,
was that?
I think it was like Dawn from California beat like John from Florida, or maybe John won. But the match was crazy because Don was down like 5-0 and came back and like tied it up. And so there was that match. There was what happened? I've played this guy. He has the upper hand on me because he beat me twice. I beat him once. But I played this guy, JD, who I beat him in a tiebreaker. a third set tiebreaker 11-9, and he beat me the next year 11-9 in the third set tiebreaker. Then he beat me again. It was last year. I, I can't remember if we went to a tiebreaker. I think it was close though. I think we did. And I lost like 6-10 or something. But yeah, I mean, we just are very even, and like my strength are his weaknesses and his strengths are my weaknesses, and but we just
You guys
never
are a
would
good
give it.
rivalry.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool. And it was just like, we both just like kept fighting, even though like it was a drag out match. I played a match where I played this dude that was way like stronger and just built big, way bigger than me. And so like when he would hit it, he did it so hard, like I felt like I put my whole body in. I wasn't playing very good. I got upset about it and then I snapped out of it, came back, won the second set, and lost in the third set tiebreaker. But like losing still sucks, but it's like, well, at least I made it competitive. And I know I can beat this guy. I just have to do this and not do this. So
Yeah.
just like even if like you lose a game, but you come back and you stop playing shitty and you just show that like, look, we're a good team. We just have to fight more. Whether you win or lose, it's like, well, at least we put up a good fight. Losing still sucks, and you shouldn't lose, but at least we didn't get blown out. That's the worst is when you get blown out. It's like you never should. It feels like you never should even been out there to me.
Yeah. You just, yeah. Or usually you get blown out. I've only got blown out a couple times where I'm like, that team was so good. Like, I don't know if we
Yeah,
could even been close. And that was like an AAU game with like one of the top 20 AAU teams. And they were just like just to be real, they were just like a bunch of white kids that you would just not think was a top 20 team. And I've never seen like a team move the ball and run like so much with like this team did. We got killed by like 40. But then I was like, wow, dang, like, no, I know what we need to work on. Like, in person, I was like, I know what I need to work on. And then we ended up doing better after that. Like, I think we went 2-1 after that or something. But, um, yeah, like, just like competing, like, no, giving yourself the chance. Like, hey, I could have won, or like, you bring yourself to the end of the match or end of the game of you gave yourself a chance to win, and then just believing that you can win too. And yeah, I think like just sports teaches you that, teaches you like things are going to get tough and you can develop this muscle in your like brain of like to keep going and like to find ways to win when you're feeling your best, you're not playing your best, or things aren't going like the right way. And I just think it's really easy to like give up uh like now, or it's always easy to give up, but or do you make it a habit of giving up? As a coach, didn't like nutrition coaching, people get so like caught up if they don't hit their goal in a certain amount of time. But it's like, well, what choices were you making from this time to that time? And like, I'm not gonna make choices for people. I'm gonna like help coach them along the way. Like, what choice do you want to make?
yeah,
And like, when things get tough, like, what's that mean? It's like, all right, well, maybe the timeline's gonna get pushed. Like you said earlier, like you could be out there all day, and like I'm not gonna lie, something I tell myself is like, oh, I will be in fitness and nutrition and health until the day I die. So it's like this never ends. Don't give yourself an out. Don't let yourself like have like an excuse, an scapegoat. It's like if you really care about a goal, if you really or a dream, you really want to hit it, it's like you're like, I will work at this until I get it. Just like with moving out. It's like, yeah, you put it on the back burner sometimes, but it's because you were working on um just getting healthier sometimes, probably most of the time, and or like something with sports because you had a big sports thing coming up, or like speaking with jobs, got the job Special Olympics, so you were just like busy with other things, so your goal had to like take a little back seat, but then you're able to put it like in the front a little bit at times, and then you got it. So obviously, if you want to hit your goal as fast as possible, it's got to be like a top two priority for sure. And then once
yeah,
you get it, then it can kind of like be on the back burner. Because once you move out, like you're not gonna have to be thinking about moving out because you already moved out. Now you just got to be focused on keeping the place. But
yeah. Then we get bigger. We get a lot harder.
yeah,
Like it would just be like, all right, well, how am I gonna like keep this place and not get stressed out by and not be fine. But you like even though you have no money to pay the bills, you like think, oh, I gotta pay this bill. And so and I've never
you
like,
figure it out. Like you
yeah,
just find a
exactly.
way.
Like
Yeah.
And so, but then yeah, it would just be a different. My life would be like totally different. So yeah, like you'll have to sacrifice some stuff and still get to do it, but not as much as I would want. Like, maybe some days I can't go certain places. I had to do stuff around the house or just couldn't afford to like get a ride from like Uber. Uber's expensive. And
Yeah, I know.
um,
Get a
but
bike.
yeah, I do have a bike. We live in Nebraska. I'm moving out in the fall, so I only got like a month. But yeah, I mean, it'd just be a different life, but it'll be good because that's what I wanted. And I mean, I already kind of accomplished all my sports goals when we were kids. So now that I've done that, you got to work on just living a kind of a, I guess, everyday life, which for a lot of people is like, well, that's not a goal, but like for me it is because I didn't get to move out. And sometimes like the ordinary is like what I would like dream about is like you're stuck at home, you have some freakishly weird virus that you got. No, don't know how, but you got some weird virus that it's kind of concerning. So you got to focus on that. So like your everyday life is not like the ordinary, going to work, working out a little bit, and then doing stuff around the house. It's like, man, I hope I feel good tomorrow, or I hope I don't get sent to the hospital or whatever, you know.
Yeah,
So
it's
it's
true.
just like all that. And I think it doesn't really matter if like, we always think about the people that like accomplish goals and they never gave up on their goals, but they become really famous and popular. But like even if you have a goal that's just moving out and being ordinary, or if it's a goal to you and a dream, then it still counts. Just because you didn't make the news on it doesn't mean it's not a big deal. It's a big deal
Hmm.
to you. It's like playing
Yeah.
these tennis matches. Like I love every win I have in Special Olympics. It's great. But when I beat somebody that doesn't have a disability, it's way bigger, which people maybe not see that, but it is because I'm not as strong, fast, or hand-eye coordination is slower, or it should be, but I still find a way to win sometimes, and it's just a bigger deal to me. And no one sees these matches. You just call up. It's like you call the person up, you play them, and that's it. It just looks like a regular tennis match going on. There's no ESPN or nothing big, but to me, it's like some of the biggest wins of my career. So
Yeah.
just and I always wanted to like compete with people outside of Special Olympics. Not that I didn't like competing in Special Olympics, but I just wanted to see if I could do it because we always played with our friends growing up, and I was obviously the worst one. And so to do it with tennis is pretty cool. It's because I never gave up on it, which was weird because it wasn't like it was a dream of mine, but it wasn't one I was just like focusing on all the time. It just happened.
Hmm.
So, but I never gave up on the play because I just kept practicing all the time. So,
Cool, man. I think it's a good spot to end it. We'll be better about getting these out. Hence, what we kind of just talked about is just like keep progressing towards your goal. And one of our goals is to get more of these out. So we'll keep having these going. And thanks for joining our show. And we'll see you for the next one.
see
See ya.
ya.